Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I hope that everybody has, I hope that everyone has had a wonderful Thanksgiving slash Indigenous Peoples Day this past Thursday. I hope that everyone ate until their heart's content, but not too much. And I hope that everybody's got some rest, took a break. I know, as for me, I just took a break, and it felt nice. It felt nice to take a little bit of a break and just relax. Um, didn't go anywhere this year, just kind of took it easy, stayed at home. Our son came, visited from Louisiana, so it was great having him home and seeing him, um, since he moved away a couple of months ago. So I just kind of was did the easy breezy, just kind of relax. We didn't even have like a traditional meal. What did y'all have for Thanksgiving this year? Did everybody put it in the chat? Like what did you have? Did you have the sort of the usuals, or um did you have something else? What did you have for Thanksgiving? I'm just curious. So this year we didn't do a turkey because again it was only three of us, and my son is a strict vegan, and so it was really just the two of us in terms of the food, meats and stuff like that. So we had something that we like that we don't necessarily get to eat a lot of. So we had Chilean sea bass and crab cakes. Those were our uh, those were our proteins, for the meal. So it was a little different than what we might normally do had we had like a whole big family together. But nonetheless, we enjoyed what we did have. My husband he did the lion's share of the cooking. Actually, he did the greens, and he did some red beans and rice, homemade, and he did some homemade sweet potato pie, and he did apple cobbler. So I just relaxed while he did most of the cooking. So that was nice. So tell us what you had. Tell us how was your holiday, and also just let us know where you're calling from. Not where you're calling from, where you're tuning in from. Let us know. Let us know where you're tuning in from. So I hope that everybody had a wonderful holiday season. Welcome to Mind the Mental Monday. It was kind of nice even taking a break last week. Didn't have do a Mind the Mental Monday, but I hope that you saw the video that I put out, just encouraging everyone to, give each other and give yourself some grace if you decided that you didn't want to do the traditional this year, that you didn't want to necessarily go hang out with a big crowd or family, that you might have just wanted to spend some time to yourself, and to like give yourself that grace, to do just that when you need to do it, and do that unapologetically. So hopefully you saw that reel, but if you didn't, go to my page and just check it out. So tonight I'm going to talk about from down and out to up and in. And the reason that I wanted to talk about that tonight is that, um, over the last, I guess, 2 to 3 weeks, I have really been in just a bad headspace. I've just been in a space of, I can't even really describe it, but I just been really just in a funk, like just down. I was sad um, almost every day for the last couple of weeks. Just teary, just wanting to cry, not really having a reason to cry, but just feeling just blah. But it just persisted, for a period of time. And uh, I couldn't figure out what it was. Like I couldn't figure out what was the impetus, what was the cause of it. And if I'm to be honest, I'm not like 100% out of it, but I'm gonna say I'm maybe 70%, about 70% out of it. So I thought it would be helpful. Hopefully, it will be helpful to somebody else. One, to know that if you go through these kinds of seasons of just being down and out, or feeling down, that one, you're not by yourself, but two, um, thinking about ways to come out of that, right? So rather than being down and out, to be up and in. So let me know how you are. Like, how are you feeling? What kind of mental space are you in? What kind of mental space were you in over the holiday? Like, were you excited? Were you happy? Or did you feel kind of blah? Or did you feel like, this is not where I'm used to being? Because for me, I've never really been in a space where I where the being down like lasted as long as it did this time. So it was really concerning for me. And so what I think I came to realize in it is that I can't stay here. I can't stay in a space where I'm just sad and where I'm just tired and just feeling just stuck in a weird and not so good space. So here on Mind the Mental on Mondays, one of the things that I try to do is to be transparent. And at this stage in my life, I'm more transparent, I think, now than I have been my entire life. I had become accustomed to just wearing that mask all the time and being one of those who, if somebody asks, "How are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm fine." And now I've gotten to a place where when I'm not fine, and it's not like that all the time, but when I am in a space where I'm not fine, I'm a little more comfortable to say, actually, I'm not in a good space right now. Um, so it's the space that I've been in for a couple of weeks, but I'm at a place now where I'm just like, okay, all right, I can't stay here. I've got to figure out how to push my way through. So what I'm going to do tonight is, um, if I had a slide, it would be a table, and on the left side of the table it would say down and out, and on the right side of the table it would say up and in. And so on the left side where you're down and out, I'm going to give like sort of a characteristic of being down and out. And then I'm going to talk about how to flip that to being up and in. So the first down and out was is being in a funk. And so I described earlier that I've been in this funk, or had been in a funk for a few weeks, and just sort of trying to figure out what is going on. And in order to get to the up and out, the first thing that I had to do was to make a decision. And that decision was, I can't stay here. I have got to get out, because if I stay here, I'm not going to accomplish things that I would like to accomplish. I'm not going to be able to be a blessing to others. I'm not going to be, I'm a service oriented person. So I'm not going to be able to serve others in a way that, one, God gets the glory. And that is in excellence. And so when you're sort of in a funk, the first thing you have to do is decide, okay, I'm here. Acknowledge that you're here. Acknowledge that maybe you've been there for a while, but then say, okay, look at yourself in the mirror and call your name. And if you got to call your whole government name, then do that. But look yourself in the mirror and say, whatever your name is, for me, it's Benita Lynn Weathers. Benita Lynn Weathers, you cannot stay here. Because if you stay here, you're not going to be able to be used here. You're not going to be able to help others to get out of a funk that they might be in if you stay in a funk and if you decide that you're going to just stay here. There's more work for you to do. There's work that God has for you to do. There's people that you are being called to serve. And in order to do that and to do that well, I'm going to need you to come out of this. So as I've said before, whatever your this is, go ahead and define it for yourself. What is your this that you need to come out of? And then call yourself by your whole name and say, whatever your name is, I've got to get out of blank. I have to get out. I don't know how I got here, or maybe you do know how you got here. But if you don't really know how you got here, which is kind of how I was feeling, like, why am I feeling like this? I have no idea. Now, for me, at being a young lady of about to be 55 in a couple of weeks, there's that little thing called menopause. We know that that's a real thing. We know that there's real chemical imbalances that can happen during that season. And we know that, that can be a real thing, that those chemical hormonal imbalances can just sort of overtake you and make you feel like you are, sometimes it can make you feel like almost like you're like losing your mind. Sister Val, I see you, and you said you agree with the feelings. You've been feeling the same way. At times you feel like crying, but you won't let yourself. You enjoyed your time with family, but still missing your sister. And we're going to talk down this list. Grief is a part of this list that I'm going through. So thank you for sharing that with us. So, recognizing that you're in the funk, acknowledging it, naming it, but then making a decision, I can't stay here. The next down and out is when you're being not sure how to get out. I was finding myself just sort of either just kind of staying in bed or sitting in my recliner, not having energy, which we're going to talk about a little bit later, but just feeling, like almost like I couldn't move. And I kept praying, like, Lord, how do I get out of this? Like, because I don't even know what it is. I don't even really know why I'm feeling like this, but how do I get out of this? So, in order to go from the down and out of being not sure, and trying to get up and in would be to schedule to see a therapist. If you already have a therapist, schedule some time with your therapist. Speak with a life coach or a spiritual advisor. I actually am a life coach, so if anybody out there is interested in one, I'm going to later share with you my a link to schedule a free consultation. But try to get with somebody who may be able to help you get to why you're feeling the way that you're feeling. Sometimes there's no rhyme or reason to it. And it's, you just have to sort of say, okay, I'm feeling this way, acknowledge how you're feeling. I don't know why I'm feeling this way. I may not ever really understand why I'm feeling this way, but what I do understand is, going back to the top, I can't stay here. I can't stay in this state of mind that I'm in. Um, I have to, I have to do something to sort of flip how I'm feeling in my mind. Um, so another feeling of down and out is feeling stuck. So, when you're not sure how to get out, and then you feel like you're just sort of stuck in this, like it's like being stuck in like gook in a way. That's kind of how I was feeling. It's crazy because I can't even think of a really articulate way to describe it, but I really felt bound. I really felt like I was just in a pile of gook, and I couldn't move. Like I couldn't get up, I couldn't move to the left, I couldn't move to the right. It was really hard to move. And so I um I had to like I really had to just own my feelings. And the first thing that I did, I think it was this past Saturday, when I came to this decision of, okay, I can't stay here. I forced myself to sit at the table. I had my earphones in. I have this uh I listen to this like just peaceful music that helps me to focus, and it just helps me, it calms me, it brings me to a place of sort of centering. And I just started to write, just feverishly, I just started to write how I was feeling. And once I was able to sort of get all of that out, I felt like it was sort of a relief. It wasn't a complete relief, but it was a first step. It was a first step to getting up out of that feeling. And someone said, I feel like I'm here. Um, I feel like I'm on a roller coaster that keeps speeding up as I attempt to get off. And that's where, you have to really be intentional to just stop. Sometimes there's just so much going on. There's so much noise in your head because there's so much going on in your life. There's just a lot just happening. And you just are constantly, you know, on this roller coaster, and you're going up and down and, in and out, and it seems like it just never stops. So you have to sort of find a way to make yourself stop. And this is where those breathing exercises really come into play, where they're really good for you. um, I have a link to an article. I'll have to try to put that in the comments. But there's a breathing activity where for 3 minutes, it's like you imagine this square, a perfect square, 4 seconds on each side. You take a deep breath in, hold it, and then exhale, hold it. So on the top, you're taking a deep breath in, and then you hold it, going down the side. Then you exhale, going across the bottom, hold it, going up to the top. And you do that for like 3 minutes. Getting your breath under control can be really helpful in those moments where you're feeling anxious, or you're just feeling like you're just all over the place. Taking that time to just stop, just pause, just sit, find a quiet corner, wherever that is, and just sit and allow yourself to breathe. because a lot of times we don't even realize it, that we're running so much, we don't pay attention to our breath. And sometimes we're not breathing. The other day, my son is a stretchologist, but he was a stretchologist, so he knows how to do these, how to stretch you. Um, I was having these really bad back spasms, which I have every so often. And he was saying that the problem really isn't your back. The problem is your hips. You're not loosening up your hips. So, he did these leg stretches and hip stretches with me. Um, but in the time that he was doing it, um, I feel like, I kind of like, I was tense and I kind of stopped breathing. And so my son said, "Mom, you have to breathe." He's like, "I need you to breathe." And I didn't even realize that I wasn't breathing. Like I literally had just kind of tensed up and stopped breathing. He's like, "I need you to breathe." And that's what we have to do all throughout the day. Those deep breathing exercises really do help to sort of calm you, center you, and just get you to a space where you can sort of focus. And that is one of the first steps to kind of getting up and getting up and in, as opposed to being down and out. So when I felt that way, I had to own my feelings and I had to write them down. And so I did the deep breathing exercises. I put on the calm music, and as I'm listening to the calming music, and as I'm still paying attention to my breathing, I'm writing down what is going on internally. And in that way, I'm able to kind of look back at it, and I can see where I was at then. And then I can also look at where I am at another point in time. The other thing that I have started to do, and that I've started to make a daily practice, is I use the app. If you have an iPhone, I don't know, I'm sure that they have the same thing on Android phones, but there's an app that where you can sort of track how you feel. And so it'll just I have it where I get a notification at different points in the day. It says track how you're feeling right now. And what that does is it forces me to think about my thinking. It forces me to know where I am, but it also helps me to see if there are any patterns that I might be going through. It helps me to see if I'm having some kind of mental pattern. And it allows you to sort of check off, like, what's going on right now? What's having the biggest impact on you right now? And they'll have all of these different either emotions or people, or like, your family or your partner or your job, or, just different options that you can choose. And they have, where you can put in other options if one of yours, if what you're going through is not really listed. But it just helps you, and it has a scale of being either distressed or, up to being very, very pleasant. Oh no, from like not pleasant at all to very pleasant. And so you can kind of put yourself on that scale, and you can sort of think about what's causing me to be in this space. And then that can help you to start to think about ways to pull yourself out of it. What do you need to address? What do you need to deal with? And I'm sorry, I don't know the name of the app, because it's just a part of the on the iPhone, there is a health app that just comes with the iPhone. And within that, there are several different health options. I also use the sleep part of it, where at a certain time at night, it turns all my notifications off so that I can sleep, the number of hours per night that I want to sleep. So if you start using those tools are out there, they're free. Again, I'm sure Android probably has something that's similar, a similar kind of health app that, people can use to really keep track of where you are, what you're thinking in your mind, because it's important to be proactive about your mental health. That's something I talk about all the time. We can't just sort of wait for something to happen to decide, oh, now I want to get some I want to think about my mental health and get some help. No, mental health is health. It's a part we use our mental intellect, our mental health all the time. It's not just being depressed. It's even being happy. That's your mental health. When you're in a good space, that you're in a good mental space, that is a part of your health. So I want to encourage everybody to use those tools that are out there, that allows you to track, kind of how you're feeling and what you're going through. And so that is another thing, another tool that I have used in addition to my own journaling. It doesn't take the place of journaling for me because, journaling, I might have pages and pages of stuff that I just got to get it out. And and then I usually am able to then, when I meet with my therapist, I'm able to then go over kind of where I was and kind of how I tried to get out. And, she helps me to kind of walk through things that I might have been going through and give me some additional tools to help to get up and in, as opposed to being down and out. The other part of it is just is having a lack of energy. And in that time, in that space over the last few weeks where I was down and out, I really just did not have any energy. I had no energy. I had no real desire to do anything. Now, that's okay for a couple of days because, I also, as you've seen on in some of my other Mind the Mental, the last one I did, I think it was the last one, I talked about the need for rest. Like, don't be forced to rest. And I talked about how it took getting sick for me to realize that I needed to get intentional rest. Not that I didn't know that before, but it just really, when I was kind of just in bed for a few days, when I woke up, and got out, I realized that, oh, now I had all this energy that I didn't have before. But when you're in that kind of a funk, like had been in over the last few weeks, and being down and out, and I didn't have any energy. And I just didn't know, like, how to get that energy back. So when I made the decision that I can't stay here, I've got to get out of this, when I spoke with my therapist, when I, and feeling stuck, owned my feelings and wrote them down. With the lack of energy, what I decided to do was I had to force myself to, like, get up. Like, I had to force myself to get back to our church's exercise that we do on Mondays and Thursdays on Zoom. I had to really force myself today to get back on track with that. So, forcing yourself to get up, and that can be really, really hard, but it's something that you just have to do. You have to, force yourself to get up and get yourself moving, because that alters your mind. That helps, those hormones that kind of help get your energy flowing and kind of get you in a better headspace to that cortisol to kind of start working and getting you more energetic. And so sometimes I might have to take a walk, get some sunshine, if it's even if the sun is hiding during the day, even if it's hiding in a cloud, it's still there. So just getting out, getting some fresh air, even if it's cold, even if it's brisk fresh air, getting out, getting sunshine, just forcing yourself to do it. And so I had to do that. I had to say, girl, Benita, again, I had to call my whole government name, Benita Lynn Weathers, you got to get out of this. I need you to get up. I need you to get moving. I need you to, write out your feelings. I need you to exercise. I need you to get out, get some sunshine. And I need you to intentionally use the tools that you have right in your hand. And that little tool, that cell phone, is a tool that is probably in our hands more than it should be. Sometimes we need to get rid of that. Like, we got it as a tool. We can use it for the things that we need to use it for, but then there are times that we need to put that down. There are times that we need to take a break. We need to do a fast from social media. There are times where, because the other thing that I know about me now in my writing feverishly about how I was feeling, a lot of how I was feeling was based on my comparing myself to others. And a lot of that comparing myself to others comes from what I see other people doing on social media. And as much as I hate to admit that, because I know better, like I know better. I know that on social media, most of the time, people are posting what they want people to see. People are posting the best of themselves. They're not posting the trials that they had to go through to get where they're going. They're not necessarily posting when they're having a bad day, right? They're posting all the hype things that frankly may or may not be true, right? And so I had to just, as crazy as it sounds, it's like, girl, you're not a teenager. Like you you should know better than, to be comparing yourself to other people. But I think it's a part of our human nature to do that. So that's another thing. I wasn't on social media as much as I might normally be, and just try to sort of think about what I am doing. One of the exercises that my therapist had me to do is to, on a daily basis, at the end of the night, write down not only what you're grateful for, but write down your accomplishments. A lot of times, we think about what we haven't accomplished and what we're not doing, and that we haven't gotten, that third, fourth book out or whatever. But we don't take the time to smell the roses. We don't take the time to think about, what did you do well? So I realized that in my journaling experience, what I came to realize is that a lot of the funk that I was in also just had to do with not feeling good about myself, not feeling good about where I am in my life right now, thinking that I should be further along than I am, in life in general, feeling like I should have more to that there should be something more. And then there are other people who might see me and think, what are you talking about? You got a lot going on. So there's, again, we can't compare ourselves to other people. We can't assume that people have it going on, because people, you don't know what is going on in that person's head about themselves. So one of the things, so being down and out and feeling bad about yourself, um, because I am a woman of faith and of the Christian faith, one of the things that I do is read scripture, and scripture that I will be uplifting for me, that will be affirming to me, that will remind me of who I am in God, right? Um, Another thing to do would be to just do affirmations. So there's so many different kinds of affirmations out there. You can Google affirmations. You can create your own affirmations based on where you are and what you want to accomplish, what your goals are. And that's another thing. Another thing is, in all of this process, write down your goals. So, if you're feeling bad about yourself, ask yourself, What is it do I want to change about me? How would I what can I do that would make me feel better about myself than I'm feeling right now, right? What steps do I need to change it? Set some goals um, as to what steps you think you might need to get to the place where you think you want to be, where you think you might feel more successful, where you think you might feel more fulfilled in life. Because if you're operating from a place of just willy nilly, if you don't set yourself a goal to reach, then how will you know what steps to take to get there? You won't. And so ask yourself, and then, once you sort of list out what are the steps that you need to take to become the person that you think you want to be, what what else? What are the steps I need to take? But once you decide what steps you need to take, guess what? You need to take them. Take one of them, right? I did a post, not a post, another Mind the Mental Monday, where I talked about, um, one step to better. It just takes one step. But if you don't take any steps, you're never going to reach that goal, right? You're never going to get to a place of feeling fulfilled. What does that look like for you? What does it mean to be fulfilled? What does it mean to be successful? And then if you're not sure of the steps to take to get to the success that you are looking to get to, then your first step is to find somebody who is. Find somebody who has already taken those steps who can help you get there. Find somebody that you can confide in, somebody who can um, offer suggestions for how to get yourself in the mode of getting up and taking those steps that are necessary to reach your desired goal. And then lastly, the last down and out. So we've gone through a few. The first down and out was being in a funk. When you're in a funk and you've been in a funk for a while, you've got to make the decision that I cannot stay here. I have got to get out. That's your first step. The next down and out is not sure how to get out, then to get up and in, schedule an appointment with a therapist, speak with a life coach or a spiritual advisor, try to find a way to get out. When you feel stuck, own your feelings, write them down. When you lack energy, force yourself to get up, take a walk, put on a low impact exercise video on YouTube. Do something that forces you to get up and moving. Get out, get some sunshine, get some air. When you feel bad about yourself, affirm yourself every single day. Affirm yourself until you believe it. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am made in the image of God. Whatever it is, whatever your affirmations are, I am smart. I am beautiful. I am courageous. I am not going to be stuck the rest of my life. I will get out of this. I mean, you've got to speak life to yourself. One thing I've learned is that we can't depend on other people necessarily to do it for us, right? And even though there are others who will, sometimes other people can speak life to you all day long, but until you speak it to yourself, chances are you're going to stay stuck. You're going to stay down and out. You have to speak it to yourself, and you have to speak it out loud. Speak it out loud. Speak life to yourself out loud so that you can hear it, and so that your brain is taking it in, and eventually you will begin to believe it, so that you can have what you think it takes to take the steps to get to where you're trying to go. The last down and out is grief. Um, this year was the first Thanksgiving holiday that my mother is no longer on this earth. And I think that, just even though it had been a couple of years since she was in a place where she couldn't come to a family dinner, at least we had the option of being able to go and see her. She had an illness that had her bedridden, and so she wasn't able to get out and be with us. But we could still hear her voice. We could still, go see her. During the pandemic, we were able to Zoom call with her. So this being the first year without her um, being present on the earth was, um, I think, had something to do with how I had been feeling over these weeks. And so, what I would suggest when you're dealing with grief, and Val, I know you mentioned earlier about the grief, still, feeling the loss of your sister and sort of being here but not here. When you're grieving the loss of a loved one, it can really take you out, just out of sorts. Um, and so give yourself the grace and the space to feel how you feel. Um, and it's okay to feel how you feel. And even if sometimes it's not even the first, sometimes it's a loved one that's been gone for a long time. My dad has been gone almost 20 years, but around the holiday season, that was big for him. And he had a great big personality, and we miss him still. It's almost 20 years, but we still miss him around the holiday season, especially. And so allow yourself to grieve, allow yourself to cry. And if it becomes really overwhelming, I would suggest making an appointment with a certified grief specialist. There are a couple that I've had on Mind the Mental Monday. Dr. Edna Bell is one, and Michelle Thornhill is another. They are both certified grief counselors who can help you specifically with grief and loss. And loss can also be, as you, if you listen to the episode with Dr. Edna Bell, can be a variety of things. It's not just death. So, for example, this year, while my son was able to get home, and we were really grateful for that, our daughters were not. And so, we're used to, we having a big family dinner, and this year we didn't. It was just the three of us. And while on one hand it was really nice because it was really relaxing, but on the other hand, you still miss the ones that aren't able, to get there, who you're used to being able to get there. And with our kids, they're busy now out here adulting, and coming to the realization that they can't always get off of work. It's not like when they were in school and you had breaks. when you get out here in the real world and you start working an actual job, there are times you just can't get off, and you have to be okay with that. But I'm happy that they'll be home, over the Christmas break. But yeah, I miss them. And so so those are some things to think about, um, from in order to go from down and out to up and in. But the only way to get to up and in is to decide, I can't stay down and out. I must. I have to. I've got to get out of this. All right. So I hope that this was helpful for somebody tonight. It was helpful for me because helped me to get some things out. that I had been going through and feeling. I'm happy to say that, like I said earlier, I'm not like 100% out, but I'm 70%. And so I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I got some more work to do, but we have to make the decision to do the work too. We got to put in the work that is required to get out of a funk that we might find ourselves in. And I know also that this time of year, the seasonal depression is a real thing. And, it gets dark earlier. We have more darkness, more dark than we do daylight. So we have to make the most of the day. If we're at work, if we're at a job where we're not able to, we're not don't have windows or something like that. If you have a 15-minute break, try to, be intentional to go outside for your break. And just little things that you can try to do to get in a better headspace this time of year. Holidays can be hard for people, again, especially when you're missing loved ones that you are used to. What was that saying? When there's a empty seat at the table, it's just real, and it can be a difficult journey. And though the journey might be difficult, it's not impossible. And I just want to encourage you um, to stay encouraged, to encourage yourself. Um, speak life, speak life, because at the end of the day, life really is short and it's fleeting. And make your mark while you're here. All right. So thank you all for tuning in. I hope that you all will tune in next week for Mind the Mental Monday. I'm going to ask my team if you will drop that link in the chat. If anyone is in need of a life coach, and you're interested in speaking with me, making an appointment, a free 30-minute consult with me about my life coaching techniques and what you might expect, please feel free to follow the link, my Calendly link, and schedule an appointment with me. All right. All right. Also, don't forget, let me know if there are topics that you want to talk about, that you want talked about on Mind the Mental Monday. Please put it in the chat. I need y'all to talk to me, okay? I need y'all to, I need to hear from you. All right. So please comment. Let me know if this helped at all. If this was helpful for you, please let me know. Please put it in chat. Put in the chat what you want to hear, what you want talked about, and I'd be happy. I've done it before. I'd be happy to do that again. My Calendly invite should be in the comments now on IG, and hopefully on Facebook. I'm unable to see the Facebook comments, but yeah, let me know. Please tell me. Please interact with me. Let me know how I'm doing. I really would appreciate it. Okay. All right. Well, everybody, be blessed. Look forward to seeing you all back again next week. Bye.